Hello, I'm Max Belgraver, and today I'll be talking about economic scarcity, the problems it presents, and its possible solutions. The concept of economic scarcity is an easy one to understand. Because there is a limited amount of space, and thus resources and goods on Earth, to get more of one, they must give up some of another. This introduces us to our next major economic concept. Opportunity cost is the technical term for what was described in the previous slide. The opportunity cost of one good is simply how much of another good it would take to afford said good. For example, the opportunity cost of 1 hour of studying is 1 hour of watching television. Scarcity is an issue that becomes more and more prevalent as time goes on, as the more people there are to consume resources and goods, the less of each good or resource each person will get to consume. For example, if 2 pizzas are ordered for a party of 8 people and 2 additional people show up, each attendant will get less pizza than they would have had if there was just the initial population. This is a much smaller scale example than the entire planet, but the concept of scarcity remains the same. With this, there comes the bleak realization that as the population will continue to increase at the rate it is, there will come a point when Earth's population exceeds that of its ability to provide adequate resources for survival, with current studies hypothesizing this equilibrium passing by the year 2050, with the food supply at that time being insufficient to feed the population. Because of this impending impasse, humans have been researching ways in which the concept of scarcity can be overcome to some degree. There are 3 main methods that can help humanity dull the effects of scarcity, and they are as follows. The first way humans have begun to circumvent the law of scarcity is the use of product recycling, wherein old goods are broken down to their most base elements and repurposed into new goods. This is obviously not a one-for-one trade, but the reuse of materials can help to preserve existing and untouched resources. Another way modern economists have found effective in the conservation or revitalization of resources is in simply investing capital into the protection of these natural resources. This allows them to expand and become more fruitful, with one such group of researchers creating a framework for economic investment into natural resources, taking a proactive approach to the approaching resource shortage. With the previous 2 solutions mentioned, focusing on the preservation and recycling of assets already present on Earth, the final and more out there solution is that of human migration into space. With a new timeline presented due to the advancements in space-based travel, we can see that humans are growing ever closer to looking for a sustainable life on planets other than Earth. Returning to our pizza party example, we can see that these solutions get more viable as we continue on. For the recycling, it's unrealistic to assume that those 2 pizzas can feed the whole party adequately until it is over through the use of recycling. For investment, you can always purchase more pizza, but that requires the capital and takes extra time to come to fruition. However, we can see with the human migration that if half the party were to simply go to another party, each party would have the adequate amount of pizza and thus a higher quality of life. To try and overcome the scarcity on Earth, humans will need to use all 3 of the previously mentioned solutions, increasing existing methods of resource preservation long enough to make human migration not only plausible, but possible in order to ensure a future for the human race. Thank you all so much for listening.